Welcome back to Talkin Shop with ShopSabre. I'm Brandon, back with Chad and Garrett today.
What's up?
I'm back.
Back
In the house.
in the house. Garrett's home,
COVID free.
COVID-free. Welcome back, Garrett.
Thank you.
We missed you.
Did you?
We did, actually. We missed you a lot.
Did you?
We're missing one today, though.
We are.
We have another missing man formation today. We are now missing Jesse.
She's sick too now?
No, he's just slammed busy right now, and he's like, I need the extra day.
Oh.
It's the end of the month.
Can't blame the guy. I mean, it's the end of the month. Gotta be pushing, right?
Absolutely.
He's got a lot going on. Had a few appointments, and it just didn't work out today. So we are we're gonna make it all work. We're gonna just
We got you back.
the Three Musketeers.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
The quality's going to be nice because we don't have Jesse's phone.
yeah. The three best friends that anybody know. Yeah. So I know last week we talked a little bit about what's your excuse now. So Garrett, I think everybody'd like to know what your excuse was for not being here. PlayStation 5.
PlayStation 5.
Yes.
The couch.
The couch.
Unfortunately, I have no games on my PS5 that I really play right now.
I thought I borrowed your NHL.
Yeah, but no one comes out in a month.
They don't call it NHL. Call it Chell.
Chell.
You gotta call it right, bro.
It's called I Don't Want It Back.
Oh man. Wait, what'd you do this weekend, Chad? Did you go practice?
Practice, trying to get on the live.
It's still working on the live tour.
Absolutely.
I like it. How'd
Back
you do?
in. I did all right.
Yeah, you did pretty good.
Yeah.
Did you say you're packing?
No, I got the golf trip coming up though on the 16th.
Sweet.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Yeah, me and my buddies and
Yeah.
3 days of golf.
3 days of golf, 2 days of blisters, 3 days of recovery.
It might just be a day of golf. We'll see. We'll play it by ear.
Play it by ear. Oh man. Hey, what about you, Garrett? What'd you do?
It was a pretty chill weekend. Friday, I didn't do a damn thing. Saturday, I went to St. Paul, got dinner with friends, and
How about a beer?
I think I had a couple beers.
Fair enough.
No, it was a pretty low-key weekend. I didn't really do much.
Yeah, you were resting up, trying to get better.
Yeah. Technically, I was still sick Friday, so I had to just stay in.
Technically. So in other words, technically that's what he's supposed to say to his boss, but in the other words, Friday night.
I'll just have 4 to 5 beers to stop the shaking, and then I'll go outside.
Yeah, I went outside Saturday, but Friday I did not leave the house.
It's like when you stay home sick from school and your mom doesn't let you go and play afterwards.
Such a letdown, right? You're like, it was such a good idea until all my friends are home. Now it sucks.
Yeah.
I went to the state fair. That was fun.
How
Had a
was it?
blast. Oh, I ate a lot of food.
Did you go Saturday when it rained?
No, we went racing on Saturday.
Did you get the tot dog?
I did not get a tot dog. I got a Pronto pup though.
Oh, I can't wait for one of those tonight. I'm
Dude,
going.
Pronto. Are you going tonight?
I am.
Oh man.
This is the only day we could go. I made my girlfriend skip her haircut appointment.
Well played. Hey,
a
babe,
must.
I know you've had that haircut appointment for like 3.5 months, but State Fair only comes around once a year. You can get another haircut another time.
It helps when my mom cuts her hair because she's a hairstylist. So
Oh,
it's
that's
pretty
easy.
easy to reschedule.
Yeah, pretty easy to reschedule.
I said, Mom, you're not cutting her hair. We're going to State Fair.
Yo, mom, she's sick tonight.
Yeah.
She's sick with the State Fair flu.
Be funny if your mom sends you a cancellation bill.
I hope she does. That would be great.
I've never paid for a haircut a day in my life. So
I wish I didn't.
Me neither. Lately, anyways.
Yeah, you have the same problem I have.
Balding since 20.
Bald. That's my hairstyle. But yeah, I know today we're going to talk a little bit about quit the blame game. That sounds like a good episode for me.
Sounds
do it.
good.
Sound good to you?
Sounds good.
We all sound good?
yeah.
That's good. Yeah. I just thought it'd be fun to follow up last week's episode. We were talking about excuses and talk a little bit about responsibility for our actions this week. Choices, decisions. The blame game doesn't look good on you,
I agree.
right?
Right.
Blame game needs to be ex-nayed.
Unless it's your fault.
Unless it's your fault, then we get to blame you.
Then you got to take responsibility.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah. But it kind of goes back to it. It's a blame game. You don't have to blame somebody for something all the time, right? Or trying to, redirect. Let's be honest. We all mess up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I mess up.
Sometimes.
Garrett messes up.
Not much, but every once in a while.
Chad has never messed up in a day in his life, ever,
Until recent.
until recently. It's so funny. Chad has this thing where he always finds a way to turn every mistake he's ever made into a positive. It's incredible. Every single time. It's like, okay, well, this happened, but look how this benefited us. And it's like, by the time he's done, I'm convinced that it actually was good. I'm like, oh, Okay, that works actually.
That's why he's a salesman.
That's why he's a salesman. He's really good.
It's a gift.
Yeah, it's a gift. It's a gift for the blame game. But that's actually why I wrote this episode. It was really about Chad. Need to stop the blame game. But no, honestly, let's kind of kick it off with, what do you guys think about, when somebody says responsibility?
Say stepping up, standing out. What do you do behind closed doors that people don't see?
Yeah.
Yeah, owning your actions.
Owning your action. Yeah. I think about those who take responsibility generally are happier. That's what I always think about. It's like happiness.
Yeah.
I always feel like you're more successful, more productive with their careers, their lives, their friendships, their status in life. Typically those who accept responsibility generally go further, is what I have noticed on my end. I feel like, responsibility in general is just something that drives you forward. Even if it's not always good. I had to be responsible because I did something wrong. I had to accept responsibility for that. But it allows you to learn from it and move forward.
Yep.
Rather than dwelling in that moment, right? And, really, what is responsibility? Well, it's the state or fact of being accountable or to blame for something or take blame for something, right? So, really, when you start thinking about that, I'm responsible for that action I made, right?
Yeah.
I'm responsible for the outcome. I'm responsible for that person, right? And I got 2 kids. I'm responsible for them, right? Garrett, you're responsible for your Xbox and your PS5.
And I have a house now.
And a house.
Yes. And bills.
And
I have bills. Yeah. I have a lot of bills.
Hey, speaking of your house and your bills,
Oh, boy.
did your camera catch something happening to your tree in your yard?
My tree.
Yeah. Was there a guy that brought an animal into your...
Oh. Yeah, I shouldn't have got that doorbell.
Such a letdown. Now you can see when everybody lets
Yeah.
their dog go to the bathroom in
We
your
got a
yard.
lot of dogs in our neighborhood, and they like my yard. So do those zero turns. Man, they just shred my yard up.
Well, if you'd stop trying to zero turn at full speed.
Yeah. Unreal.
There's an art to that zero turn stuff.
Yeah, I did it in high school. I worked, and I was really good with that thing.
Yeah, now you just do donuts in your yard.
No, it's the HOA that cuts it for me.
Oh, they're just ripping
They
up
do
your
it.
yard.
Yeah. I saw it this past week when I was home. I'm like, I'm gonna see who's doing that. Sure enough, it just flies around my yard.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Garrett is 21 going on 66.
Well, I don't.
Get off my yard.
I feel like an adult.
Get off my yard.
I looked at my yard the other day, and I'm like, man, it's kind of like a lot of sticks. I started like picking up sticks, and then I thought about, I'm like, I just picked up sticks in my yard. It feels kind of weird.
That's funny. You accepted the responsibility of being a homeowner.
Yeah.
I like it.
Most
though.
days. Most days.
But let's talk about that. Let's talk about accountability and responsibility in a business now. Let's say, with business, you have to look at how your business is affected by outside variables, right?
Right.
Employees, materials, vendors. So there comes a point where you have to try and take ownership of that and bring as much as you can maybe in your own control, right? Inside your building, possibly you can control the variables, and the factors affect your business a little bit less, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, realizing sometimes you cannot control certain aspects of the business is also one of those accepting responsibility, right? Like I can't control everything, right? It's a proverbial wild card, if you will.
It's a big word.
And I think that makes the owning a business either easy or tough, right?
That's right.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. Because there's things that the wild cards that you can't control, right? The economy,
Yeah.
shipping delays,
Weather.
Yeah, let's be honest, we're in Minnesota. If it snows a crap ton one day, sometimes you can't get to work. Can't control that.
Can I use that?
No. I'll pick you up.
Garrett,
Yes.
it snows too much. We can use that as an excuse now.
No, Garrett's dad is the snowplow guy, remember?
He retired.
Other weaknesses, we're slow learners, and we're not particularly good listeners.
Oh, well, I didn't know that. But yeah, so that's actually why I hired Garrett. That was the first question I asked him.
What does your dad do for work?
Can you get here in the winter? And his response back to me was, my dad's a snowplow guy. Boom, you got the job.
Then he retired shortly
And he
after.
retired shortly after. But no, like you said, that those things that you can control, you want to control because there are enough variables you can't control. If you figure out how to control the weather or shipping delays or the economy, let me know. We need to talk because very few people are going to be able to control those things, right?
Correct.
Right.
So really, what's one thing you can control? Well, the equipment you use in your shop, correct?
Yep.
ShopSabre.com. So you could get yourself a ShopSabre, and now you can cut your own cabinets or your own signs or something in your shop versus waiting on Paul down the road to cut your parts.
Yep.
It's one of those variables that you can accept responsibility for. Rather than blaming somebody, right? Oh, I couldn't get it done because, Paul's not done yet.
Taking them longer.
Paul's taking too long. No, just don't shift the blame to Paul. Accept the responsibility. I need to buy my own equipment, right?
Take control of your outcome.
Yeah, I believe confidently a lot of people shift blame because it's the easy answer, right?
Yep.
But few actually work on the solution. It's so much easier to give you an excuse, right? We talked about that last week, than it is for me to just accept responsibility and actually change something. And, I don't want an excuse. I want a solution. You should too. Mm-hmm. If your business is hampered by supply chain issues, rather than sitting around and waiting, be proactive. Do what you can to either find an alternative supplier. If an alternative supplier doesn't exist, let's say, can you do the work yourself? Like, you have to at least explore it, right? I'm not saying that there's always an answer. I mean, in some cases, supply chain issues are supply chain issues, nothing you can do, right? We know many of our customers who needed Baltic birch, right?
Yep.
Couldn't get Baltic birch for a while. They couldn't, they didn't have a choice. That's the material they needed. They didn't have another material that they could swap out for it. Well, you can't make your own Baltic birch. Well, maybe you can. Some people can, but majority of people can't, right? So, therefore, you're kind of stuck waiting. So, we see businesses who are unwilling to accept the responsibility, though. And they could do the work themselves. They just don't want to, right?
Yep.
We see customers who, instead of adding equipment, they choose to just add a delay. We've heard it from our customers.
Yep.
And it gets kind of annoying at some points to hear that same excuse. Like, oh, we're just going to wait for the long delay. Like, in the time you're waiting, you could have a new machine. Correct?
Yeah, you could do it yourself.
Yeah. And that's my thing is, like, I would rather own more of it so I can keep my business moving. I mean, that's why we build in America, right? Mm-hmm. That's why here at ShopSabre, everything is American made as much as we can.
Exactly.
Because I can walk out to the floor and ask a guy to work the weekend if I need to. Hey, do you mind putting some overtime in this weekend? Are you available? Hey, can you work late tonight? Can you come in early tomorrow? Can we run a second shift this week? What can I do to overcome hurdles, right? I can do stuff in-house. But there's some things that I just can't control, right? I mean, as an example, if one of our motor manufacturers can't get me motors, I can't just, hey, guys, can you build me motors today? Like, I can't do that. So I try to control as much as I can.
You can't ask them to have their employees work on
Correct.
Saturdays.
Correct. I can't walk out and ask the motor guy to.
You need to have your guys work this weekend.
Yeah. Hey, can we have a Zoom meeting with your entire team? I'd like to ask them a question.
Good luck.
Yeah, exactly. Good luck. Instead of waiting for your vendor to cut your material, could you cut it yourself? Well, Paul can't get to it, but if I had a machine, I could. Or instead of waiting for your employees to figure it out, could you figure it out? Or at least help them figure it out, right?
Yep.
I'm a firm believer that being hands-on to the problem breeds a better solution. ShopSabre has always been a hands-on company. Really no manager here is not a working manager, right? I think every manager within our organization is involved in their department.
Absolutely.
We don't have anybody that just sits in an office and doesn't do anything all day long. Like, the majority of our managers are on the floor, in their departments, doing whatever they have to do to keep things moving.
Yeah, and I work in a cubicle, so
Yeah.
that's where I'm not working all day.
That's where you're not working?
Yeah.
Oh, that's convenient. We're all in the trenches, Chad. All of us. But we do. I mean, we do work side by side as a team. And because, I believe hard work breeds hard work, right?
Absolutely.
If you don't see hard work, it's easier to just not pay attention to it, right?
Yeah, if your manager's lazy or doesn't care,
Correct.
your employees are going to do the same thing.
Exactly. That's my point. Is if a guy's sitting around doing nothing all day, what's the motivation for the rest of the team?
Exactly.
Like, so that's exactly it. It's like, let me tell you a JB story.
The good old JB.
JB.
Justin Bieber.
No. No, the other JB.
Both have great hair.
All right, let's hear it.
Both have great hair. JB, which is my father.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah, that JB. His whole deal is like, my dad never leaves. Like, I swear to God, my dad works harder than most guys I know at his age and through the success he's had in his career. I think it'd be really easy for my dad to be like, hey, you guys got this. I'm going to go do something else, right?
Yeah, I'm ready to not put in 40 plus hours a
Yeah,
week.
exactly. But it's not who he is, And so, like, I'm not able to leave till he leaves, I feel like obligated, right? And so it's me accepting responsibility for my time, right? My actions, my work have always been driven on I have to put in more work than my dad. So as you said, like if I see my dad being lazy, right? If my dad wasn't caring, it'd be easier for me to adapt that, like, I don't really have to care either, right?
Yep.
But because I watch my dad grind every day, like he just puts the hours in, he does the work. It's like, I got to outwork him every day. And so it's like, and I'm gonna be honest, like he puts in some work. So sometimes you got to like really wear yourself out to get to beat him, I'm not letting that old man outwork me. I'm just saying. Not
It's
doing
probably
it.
getting a little bit easier as he creeps up. And
It's not. I swear, Chad, it's not. Like you would think it would, but it doesn't. My dad definitely puts in hard work every single day.
I couldn't imagine 10 years ago.
Well, that's exactly it. Like try growing up with him.
Yeah.
Like my God, like there's a reason why, my brother, myself, like why we have the work ethic we do, because we grew up around him pushing us all the time. And, as I said previously, he's got that whole, what does he always say to us? I don't want, I don't want excuses. I want solutions.
Yep.
But that's what he's had all of his life. He's had that mentality, right? And it's the right attitude to have though, because like, again, we accept responsibility for things we can control, right? Whatever we can accept responsibility for, we do. Because again, I mean, it goes back to even how this company was founded, right? It would have been really easy for my dad to go find a supplier overseas, let somebody else do the work, and then he just is the middleman and passes the product through, and then he makes, the profits.
Yep.
And then when something goes wrong, he just blames the supplier. That would have been the easy thing to do. How many companies do that today? They sell you a product that they're just buying from overseas that is having their name put on it. Mm-hmm. They don't have to accept responsibility because it's so, especially in today's world, like it's so easy to blame the supplier. Mm-hmm. Like, oh man, I'm sorry that the quality just not there on that one. We'll get you taken care of. But that, it's shift the blame right on them and, oh, I'm good, right? Pushed it all off me. I'm scot-free, but how dare them, right? Mm-hmm. Well, no, the reality is you chose them as your supplier, right? Like here at ShopSabre, we try to test everything before it leaves, right? We test every one of our machines before it leaves. That's our way of ensuring that the quality control is in place for what we're doing. But does that mean that things don't go wrong in the field? No. We've had things happen, right?
Oops.
But the difference is we back our product. And when we back our product, we stand behind our product as best we can. Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's one of those things that you have to think about that blame and that blame game. Like, where is it being shifted to? What are they trying to take off themselves? It's taking responsibility away from themselves. It's really easy to make it somebody else's problem, right? Shift the blame to somebody else. And that goes for business. That goes for your personal life. That goes for, employees, employers. Like, it's a constant. I feel like in today's world, rather than like figuring out a solution that works for everybody, it's just a constant, like, how is this not my problem, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like that everywhere I go. I went to McDonald's the other night, and my kid.
That sounds good.
My kid wanted a Happy Meal. So I brought my son to McDonald's. They opened a new McDonald's in our town. And to him, that's the coolest thing ever, that there's a new McDonald's, right?
They have a place?
They do.
Does he like that?
We don't really go inside ever.
Oh.
But
They don't actually have those anymore, do they?
they have some, they have some.
Now they're
play things.
fancier, though.
Yeah, they're like, it's a lot fancy. It's not like what we used to, like not what we grew up with.
Oh, okay.
It's not like the ball pit.
Oh, okay.
It's not like where you pay $2 for socks.
Yeah, and you could drown your brother in the ball pit. Like your mom was like, "Where'd your brother go?" And you're like, "I don't know." And you're sitting on him the whole time. You're like, "No idea. Haven't seen him." Carry on, Mom.
He's not coming home with us.
Carry on, Mom. But no. So, anyways, we were at the McDonald's and I ordered the 2 Happy Meals, and then I ordered a cheeseburger, a double or 2 cheeseburger meal. 2 cheeseburgers, fries. Right, my drink.
The number 2.
Yes.
So I pull up.
Number 2.
Yeah, the number 2. Thank you. So I pull up to the window, and the guy hands me my drinks, and he goes, "Have a nice day."
Wait.
I'm like, still need our food. Hands me 1 Happy Meal. All right, have a nice day. Like, nope, we're still short food here, bud. So, like, literally, I'm trying to get my order. This goes on for like 10 minutes, trying to get my food from him. He hands me the bag after 10 minutes of like just a fiasco. Hands me the wrong drink originally, had to hand that back to him. Jeez. So at this point, it's just not going well. Finally hands me a bag full of food. And it's just fries. I'm like, we're missing there's 2 fries in here, which is confusing because I only get 1, but okay. And there's no cheeseburgers. So I was like, bud, there's 2 fries and no cheeseburger. I needed 1 fry and 2 cheeseburgers. He's like, oh, keep the extra fries. Sorry about that. I'll go get the cheeseburgers. Comes back, and I kid you not, I get a bag full of 2 more fries and 1 cheeseburger. But I didn't know that. I hand it to my wife, and she looks at. I said, "Hey, can you check the order?" She opens the bag. She's like, "Yep, it's all there." So we drive away, and she goes, "Oh, you're missing a cheeseburger."
Oh.
I'm like, hey, Amy, I just asked you if it was all there. Oh, well, he messed it up. I'm like, no, don't blame him. Don't shift the blame. I asked you, was it there? I know he messed it up, but come on. It was a lot easier when I was at the window and he could just hand it to me. Now I got to go back around, you know? So we go back around. I kid you not. So Amy's like, I'll run in. I'm like, okay, cool. She runs in, comes back out, right? We get in the truck. We drive down the road. I'm eating the cheeseburger while driving. I get through cheeseburger number 1. Go and grab cheeseburger number 2. Cheeseburger number 2 sure tasted like a McChicken.
Oh, jeez. They
She
really
went in.
screwed up.
She went in for the second cheeseburger and ended up with a McChicken. It said McChicken on it and it was in green. Like, Amy. I know the kid had one job that he completely disasterized. But, Amy, you so check the bag and you didn't check the bag. Then, unbelievable.
So who do you blame in that situation? Your
Nobody.
wife or McDonald's?
I had to blame myself. That's
Yeah,
what I
there's
can't
a lot
shift.
to blame
I
there.
can't shift the blame to anybody. I had to blame myself for not just inspecting it myself at that point. I knew it wasn't going to go right. I knew he was wrong. I shouldn't have drove away. I should have just handed them the bag back and be like, take a look and tell me what's missing.
I think we should blame the manager of the new McDonald's.
Well, it's something, man.
I'm actually going to blame. I'm going to blame you, Brandon. You know why?
You had a
You shouldn't
confusing
have went to
order.
McDonald's.
I shouldn't have got. Dude, first time that I've been to McDonald's myself in like, what? How long, Chad? It's been a long time.
Well, I don't know.
It's been like 3 years, 4 years.
Probably.
Yeah. Chad and I, it was like 3-4 years ago. Chad and I don't remember how it came up, but nevertheless, I ended up boycotting McDonald's. And I have not had McDonald's myself. My boys have McDonald's because obviously they're kids and you can't take that away from them. That was my first cheeseburger that I've had from McDonald's in 3
that's-
years.
Yeah, that's been 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was when you first started here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now that you say the boycott, I remember.
Yeah, remember that? I boycotted them. That was my first time. I was like, all right, I'm going to do it because I'm super hungry and this is all that they have. Guess what? I'm back on. I'm on the boycott bandwagon again. I'm back on it. They lost me again.
I think you just need to go to a more established ones that can take.
Not the new ones?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
You gotta get places a couple months.
You know what
to
I'm just going to do
open up.
instead? I'm going to stop going to McDonald's instead. I'm just going to come to work. ShopSabre.com.
There you go.
That would work if work had a vending machines.
Let me tell you a JV story. I tried installing vending machines one time. He told me no.
Yep.
Instead, we have a snack bar downstairs now.
Yeah, but I feel bad taking that.
That's what I told him. I'm like, people feel bad taking that stuff because it's there. He's like, well, I feel bad charging them. I'm like, well, now we're at a catch-22 because people aren't going to take it because they don't want to take it for free. And you don't want to charge them. So now nobody's going to eat or drink all day long.
Now I'm just gonna go smash all the cookies.
Yeah, exactly. Now we just eat all the cookies in the entire building. Way to go, Dad. But, we really got...
Yeah.
we got
was
what happened?
derailed.
Yeah, we got derailed there. That really got out of hand. But really, the results of accepting responsibility really comes down to, many people find that their life or their work or their friendships, etc., that if you accept or take responsibility, you become more accomplished, right?
Yep.
I feel like you gain a lot of respect with people when you're willing to accept responsibility, even if it's negative, negative, like, hey, yeah, that was on me, man. I messed it up. Because it's a lot harder to point fingers at somebody who's pointing fingers at themselves.
True.
Yeah, that's why the best thing to do when you notice a mistake is tell somebody.
Correct.
Say something.
Yeah, and I think that's what I love about our team.
Address it.
Yeah, like our team in general. Like even today with Jesse, right? I mean, Jesse was going to join us today.
Yep.
And he couldn't. He just was too busy. Like to be able to say that, accept the responsibility that I'm going to be putting off work if I come do this, right? That to me, shows a lot more. I'm willing to sacrifice my own enjoyment, right? Because he enjoys doing this.
Yep.
But it's really for the benefit of the team, right? And that's the mentality as an employee I think that a manager loves,
True.
or as a customer of a business. I'm not, I guess I'm one of those customers, and there's some customers that just expect everybody to be perfect all the time, right? I'm one of those guys that realize that I am dealing with humans, and humans make mistakes, and people have bad days, and things happen, right? So when something goes wrong, that automatically doesn't make me a bad customer. It's when the company just continuously does things wrong and then just doesn't care. That there's nobody willing to talk to me, nobody willing to hear me out. That's where I get frustrating. I expect things to happen, right? I mean, everything that you deal with in life has the possibility of failure, right?
Yep.
True.
So, because put it this way, if you go through life expecting 100%, you're going to be a very disappointed person. Because there's nothing in life that's 100%. You're never going to hit a home run every time you swing the bat, right?
Yep.
You're never going to, every time you scratch off, you're going to win the $1 million, right? You don't. Like, no matter what you do, pull tabs, fishing, you name it, you're going to fail.
Yep.
There's a point where something isn't going to be 100% success rate. And so if you think every time you go to the store, a restaurant, whatever, you're going to have a 100% success rate, you have unrealistic odds, unrealistic expectations, right?
Yep.
And that's really what it comes down to is you have to accept the responsibility for the fact that things are going to happen in life, your marriage, your friendships, your whatever. You're going to have bad days. Heck, you're going to have bad weeks. You're going to have bad months and bad years. Things are going to happen where it's just like you can't catch a break.
Yep.
Look at me. I'm in my race car. Perfect example. Last year, I felt like we couldn't do anything wrong. Like we were awesome last year. Car was fast every night. We were really, really good last year. This year, I feel like I can't get out of my own way. This year, I mean, things break unexpectedly all the time. I spin out, I crash, I hit things. I mean, I end up hanging from a fence like a pair of socks. It's just, I couldn't get any luck on my side this year. But the reality is, if I expected to win every single night, I'd be a very miserable race car driver.
You'd be very miserable in life general.
Correct. Because you just can't expect that outcome all the time. Like same for you, Chad. Like you go golfing, obviously.
Yep.
If you expected a hole in one every single hole, how mad are you going to be?
No, I saw this new thing. My new rule is I have to have 21 bad swings before I'll start complaining about anything. So during 18 holes, I have 21 bad swings. After that 21st swing, then all right, I'm doing pretty terrible.
Yeah.
But
That's pretty good.
It's made life a lot easier because 21 bad swings is still 96 if 72 is par, which is a good score. But it's a good way to think about it.
That's true. If I have 21 bad swings on the first hole, should I quit?
That would be a long day. You would have something to start complaining about. You could say, like, I suck. And we would say, like, yeah, you do.
I'm glad you would agree with me. I'm pretty terrible at golf, so there's a reason why I don't golf. But yeah, that's exactly it. Like you were saying, it's one of those things where that's a good way to put it, though. You have to come up with a measuring system for yourself.
Like, there's going to be failures. You're going to have bad things happen.
Yeah.
You can't let it, every time it happens, you get mad about it because you're just going to keep digging yourself deeper.
Correct. Exactly. And I found that the more in business we can control, the better things are going to become, right?
Nope.
The more we do, everything we can control in-house, it helps me eliminate some of those, as you said, variables or things that are going to, keep knocking me down. And as you said, if I don't do something differently, you can't get mad.
Yep.
Why? Because you're doing the same thing. It's going to keep happening.
Yep.
Vendors let you down. You have to know that. Vendors let your customers down. Vendors many times don't really care about your customer.
Your employees are going to let you down.
Correct.
Everybody.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Delays to them are faceless, right? Your vendor. That's the one thing I always remind people. Like if you're buying parts from Jake down the street or Paul down the street or whoever, he doesn't know your customer, nor does he care. Your customer's not walking in his shop.
Your customer's not yelling at him.
Correct. So he cares about you. He doesn't necessarily care about your customer. So the more you can control, the quicker the care gets to your customer, right? Mm-hmm. Delays on your end are for your customer. Delays on his end are for you. Doesn't really, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't really affect your end user other than the fact that it does, but it's not really like Paul's responsibility at that point, right?
Yep.
I mean, they have names, order numbers, etc., right? But none of that means anything to the guy doing the work for you. It only means something to you. So you have to remember, the more you can control, if I can cut the parts, I can stay late if I need to, right? If something goes wrong, I can work overtime. I can work the weekend if I need to. I do more in-house to get deadlines met, but when I cannot manufacture something or if I can't create the part or whatever it is, if I can't control the process, I'm handcuffed until the vendor delivers, right? Mm-hmm. No matter how many times I yell, how much I want to be upset, there's nothing I can do. And unfortunately, in today's world, there are a number of things out of our control that none of us can control. Shipping delays, right? I can't do anything. I can't make the truck drive faster. I can't make a truck come pick something up, right? I can't make a truck unload itself faster, right? So the more I can control, it's just one less variable. Because if I'm going to have a shipping delay, I'd rather have just a shipping delay than to have a manufacturing delay and then a shipping delay, right?
Yep.
There's things that you have to do, and I try to be upfront. That's the other thing. Like, accept responsibility for the fact that, you know what? I do have longer lead times right now. I've had to do it. We had to do it, right, Chad?
All year.
All year. We've had to tell people, like, these are some of our longer lead times, right, this year?
Oh, yeah.
But I'd rather be upfront with people that they are going to be longer. Because the reality is, there's companies out there that are making sales right now on false lead times. We know that.
Yep.
We're getting beat by those companies on sales, right? But the best part is our reputation's not,
Yep.
people know that we were honest up front. And to be honest, we've seen a lot of orders getting canceled at our competition because of the fact that they've made sales that they can't deliver on. And all it does is upsets that customer. And now that customer's in a bad spot. I'd rather just be honest with you that I can't meet your deadline.
Yep.
I have to have something here by September. Well, it's August, so it's not going to happen. So it's just one of those things. You got to think about that. The more you own, the more you control, like adding new equipment, the more you push everyone around you, it's going to make everybody better, right? But you can push, if you get equipment, you put something new in your shop, right? Improve processes, add people, whatever it is. You can push harder when everybody else can't. When everybody else is letting their customers down, who can pick up that work then?
You can.
Yeah. Being capable of accepting responsibility gives you power, gives you freedom, and gives you growth. Right?
Right.
I like it.
ShopSabre.com. That's a good place to go and get some freedom in your business.
That is a pretty cool website I've put together.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a great website that you've put together there, Chad.
Yeah, I was wondering if you two would catch on that.
Yeah, I don't think you could have done a better job.
Yeah, I
Good
agree.
work, Chad.
It's been tough.
It's been tough.
I got it done.
Is that how it came to you? Like an idea?
Yeah.
You were like, I got an idea. I'm gonna make a website.
This really cool website for ShopSabre.
That's what you came up with.
One of the things that I think about with blame is shifting it to motivation,
Yeah.
both with yourself and with other people. Like, I'll see someone else handle a situation or the way they do something, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. I want to do things differently than that.
Yep.
Or I didn't get that job. Well, I'm going to use that as motivation to push harder to get that next job I want. Or I didn't get to shoot that artist.
Wait. You said you didn't get that job. What's that supposed to mean?
I'm saying you can use those things that you're trying for, big or small things like that.
So you are or not leaving?
Not leaving.
All right, good.
Where'd you get leaving out of that?
Did he not say he didn't get the job?
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
examples.
I think
but-
it was the lawn mowing job back in the day.
Yeah, I heard the guy in your neighborhood's hiring.
He got fired from Garrett Super's photography.
I could fire myself technically.
That'd be awkward. That'd be an awkward conversation. Garrett, you're just not working out. Why? I don't understand. But anyways, as you were saying, I'm sorry to have interrupted you there. But
Shift blame to
no,
motivation.
that's a good point though. Like you were saying, you see how somebody reacts to a situation, right? Or how they overcome something and you're like, hey, I'm going to make some changes. I'm going to do this differently. But I think there's also something to say the flip side of that too, right? I've a lot of times in my life seen people react to something and how they've handled themselves in a situation and been really impressed. Right?
Yep.
And then I'm like, man, my responsibility is to learn from that, right? I'm going to try to take some of that and make it my own, right? Try to improve myself. And I think that's a lot of it is like the blame game. Again, it goes back and it's so much easier to say, he had this or he did that. Like, no, what did he do differently than me that made him more successful than me? Rather than blaming, outside situations, what did I do wrong? What can I learn from it? What can I gain from his motivation? He won. What am I doing wrong? Right? I mean, when you go golfing, same thing. You go golfing and you get beat by your buddy. It's like, man, how is he doing that? You try to learn from it, right?
Yep.
Garrett, do you try to learn from your friends?
Depends on what it is.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nothing?
Depends on the hobby and the circumstances. There's some things my friends do that I choose not to learn from.
Well, that's the thing though, is that's the beauty of your friends is like, I didn't say it was learning like something that they do right, but do you learn from your friends? Yeah.
Yes.
I watch them make mistakes and I'm like, don't do that. That's
for
bad.
sure.
So, no, I like that. I think that was important to point out because I think, a lot of accepting responsibility isn't just in your business. It's your personal life. It's in your relationships. It's as an employee. If you got people listening to this right now if you work for somebody, right? I want you to go to work this week and I want you to kind of look at things around you and ask, what can you be doing to improve? Taking the responsibility for yourself and saying, what can I do to make our business better? Yeah, it might not be your business per se, right? But your employer has invested in you this week. They have invested in you. They put their time in you. They put their energy in you. What can you do to return that to them? And I say that simply because there's a lot of people that think the employer owes me, right? I showed up. They have to pay me. In my opinion, that's the common mistake that people make with employment is that they just assume because they showed up, they get paid. No, because you showed up, you get the opportunity to keep getting paid. You're paid to do a job. They didn't hire you to show up. I've never once put an ad out there that was like, just got to show up. That's all we care about. No, we need you to do the job while you're here. There's a task at hand. And whether the task takes you longer than the day or shorter than the day, that's what we're paying you to do. Generally, a good employer is smart enough to create enough tasks to keep you busy all day long, right? But the reality of what it is when it comes down to it, what can you do to improve that place? If something's taking you longer than it should, suggest solutions, right? Mm-hmm. People get so caught up in the, again, if I do something too good or too fast or I improve this, they don't need me anymore. But I think it's the opposite. Yeah. They need you more. You're more valuable when you can improve things. Right? I mean, Garrett, you're a perfect example of that here, right? You have helped us implement a lot of systems and things that we do now that we didn't do when you started.
Right.
That have made everybody's jobs easier. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean that I don't need more people now, right? We've grown. We add people because we're able to be more efficient. Mm-hmm. And that's what people, I think, adding equipment, go back to equipment. How many times have you heard people say well, if they get the CNC machine, then they don't need me? Well, the machine doesn't run itself.
It's not going to put them together and paint them.
Correct. There's still things for you to do. Mm-hmm. It's just making your life easier. And that's the first thing that guys need to get over is that these machines aren't replacing you. They're an add-on to you. They're making you a superhero. Because what takes you a whole day to do, the machine does in an hour. Guess what? Your employer makes more money now. Jake is more important to me now because Jake has improved production by tenfold. Mm-hmm. That to me is more important. It's not a matter of getting rid of Jake, right? Mm-hmm. Machines break down, things happen. I still need a guy, but it's nice when I don't have to wear that guy out. Or Jake wants to go on vacation and I don't lose all the business because he's gone, right?
Yep.
And then Jake comes back from his vacation and we're so backed up that now he's overwhelmed. And now me and Jake fight because he's overwhelmed and stressed out, right?
Yep.
That's the things that people need to remember. There's so many things you can do that will just simply make your job that much easier. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Easier.
Wow, that was good.
Thank you.
But
that's right.
That's right. Yeah.
It is. I mean, it's one of those things where, like you said, you gotta do what you can to help your business out. And as an employer, what are your employees doing? What can you take responsibility for that would make your employees' jobs easier?
Would it be helpful to get them a PS5? Probably.
I don't know that a PS5 is going to solve the problem.
I think me and Chad have already talked about this. It would help a lot of things.
It would.
It would. 100%.
Okay. We'll have to explore that, I guess. You guys said so.
Yeah.
Was it movie Monday?
How about a beer?
That could work. Maybe Fridays.
Hey, hold on a second.
Friday fun day.
No, you're not getting a PS5. There you go. But no, in all seriousness, though, when you do look at what you do with your businesses, or your business in general, are you giving your employees the best resources around them? Are you accepting responsibility for the fact that maybe you're making their jobs harder than you have to, right? Chad, we've talked about this even in the sales department. I always look at improving our jobs, right?
Yep.
Like quoting systems and, CRMs. Yeah, exactly. All that stuff, note taking, everything you do, scheduling. How can I improve it for you so you can be more efficient? Mm-hmm. And there's so many managers out there, I think, that go, you're just making it easier on them. You're making their jobs easy. You're making them lazy. No, if that makes your employee lazy, you have the wrong employees.
True.
Or you as a manager have put a bad process in place. What I'm doing is giving them the ability to do more, to be able to take on more work and be able to be more productive in the same amount of time without wearing them out or burning out their families.
Right.
Right? And that's really what I think a good manager needs to look at is how can you improve things, accept responsibility for the fact that maybe your process is archaic, right? You got an old school way of thinking. It worked 10 years ago. It doesn't work today. It's a different way of the world today, right? I mean, we didn't even have Zoom 10 years ago. Like, think about that. Let's even go back 5 years ago. You really didn't have Zoom meetings, right? That wasn't a thing. Like, you flew to people's places.
Or Teams.
That's my point. Like, you didn't do any of that.
Any of that.
Well, we did. We had Teams. It was called AOL Instant Messenger. You've got mail. But in all seriousness, though, yeah, it's like a professional, like JB story. The first time I got Facebook for ShopSabre, my dad thought I was just screwing around. He was just like, you don't need that. And I'm like, no, it's like the future. But he thought I was just, a kid screwing around on Facebook. I'm like, no, I'm creating a business page. Now it's like a huge thing that we use. We use it a lot. And you go further, like you look at Teams now. We installed Teams, and my dad, like the first time he had Teams on his computer, didn't know what to do with himself. Like, no idea how to use Teams. He's like, I don't understand why you can't just email me. Now my dad uses Teams.
I would have loved to hear the conversation when you said we should hire someone for marketing,
Oh,
for social media.
I have you. Why do I need that? Because we could be better. There's so
do
much more.
more.
Yeah, there's so much more we could do if I just had more time. But that's the truth. Like, yeah, there's so many things. But like I said, my dad's not that he doesn't want to do it. He just doesn't see the change, right? He doesn't understand it as well as maybe I look at it because that's what I focus on during the day. He's got a million things on his plate. The last thing on his mind is, how can I install Teams? Right? And that's where I think a lot of businesses are. You start looking up the chain and you look at the CEOs and you look at the vice presidents and the presidents and all this, and they're so busy with just keeping the business going in the day-to-day tasks, they're not always looking at forward thinking. So as an employee, you need to be that guy. You need to be the guy that looks at some of this stuff and makes suggestions. And yeah, it means you're going to have to do a little extra work because you got to put an ROI together and you got to show why something's beneficial to the company. But it will help accelerate your job, right? Mm-hmm. And it's stuff that we do. It's me. That's what I do here. I bring it to Jim, and I say, hey, these are ideas I have. Remember when we didn't have laptops?
Yeah.
We didn't have laptops. We didn't have cell phones. Like, we didn't have that stuff. It was all, you were stuck cabled to your desk. Now we're, and originally that was, well, then guys can just screw around, right? No, now guys can put the effort in when they need to at home because their kid's got a basketball game.
Yep. Or
they want to, on the weekend, they want to answer a lead after they get done, playing for the Live Tour. They can do that. So I think there's, I've kind of beat this to, a pulp at this point, but, let me ask you, what in your business are you going to accept responsibility for this week? Think about that as I leave you with that message. What in your business are you going to accept responsibility for this week? What are you going to do that you've been blaming somebody else that you're going to accept responsibility for? What are you going to change? How are you going to make yourself better this week? Do that.
I like it.
Right.
Right.
Let's do it. I'm going to make some popcorn. That's what I'm going to do.
I'm going to go eat lunch. I'm hungry.
I'm hungry too.
Me three.
Guess where I'm not going?
To the store.
McDonald's.
The one down the road doesn't make mistakes.
They don't make mistakes. They're perfect.
Well, not perfect, but they've been around for a few years.
They've been around. They're established.
Yeah, they can handle 2 drive-throughs at once.
This one can't even handle one drive-through. One drive-through 3 times. Same guy. It's the same order 3 times. You just got it wrong 3 times.
He was probably new.
I don't know. He very well could have been.
He was young.
I had 3 people though.
I feel like their employee turnover rate's pretty high there.
I would imagine so. At this point, I was really friendly too. I'm thinking to myself, like, man, you're lucky you didn't get a guy who's like really mean. I could just imagine how
Or
that
was
could
like running late for something.
Correct. Like I had nothing urgent to get to. We had just got done with my son's hockey thing, and we were just trying to go home. And I'm just like, I'll just keep waiting. I sat in line for what felt like 45 minutes. I think everybody in line behind me pulled away. Like they're just, I don't need my food. I'm good. Did you just throw your paper at me?
Yeah. It's your cue that I'm hungry.
All right. Well, with that, I'm Brandon.
I'm Chad.
Thanks for talking shop with ShopSabre.